Welcome to tonight's Bible study session. As you watch, why not invite some friends round and make an evening of it? Then, once you have finished watching, why don't you all send me your feedback? Also, tell me what you found out whilst reading the same passages. In a moment, I shall begin with prayer. I shall give a brief recap of where we left off last time. Then we shall commence with our Bible study session for this evening. Our prayer focuses this evening is Psalm 118 verse 19. Okay. Psalm 118 verse 19. So if you get your Bibles and go to that particular passage, then we can begin tonight's session. I hope you can actually see this video properly because the light seems to be fading in and out for some reason. I don't know why that is, and I can't seem to get the contrast right, but I hope it doesn't spoil your enjoyment too much. It's quite cold, so I've got my woolly on today. Okay. I hope you're now at Psalm 118 verse 19. Open to me the gates of righteousness. I will go into them and I will praise the Lord. Father, we gather once again in your presence as we are hoping to hear from you regarding your word. Give us wisdom and give us understanding of your word as we sup from you today. Righteousness is what we seek to be in right standing with you today and always. As we read your word, open the gates so that we may praise you in what you reveal to us today. As you teach us how to be righteous according to your standards and not our own. For your righteousness is like none other. It does not discriminate or frown upon those who fall short, but encourages and develops us, molding us into your likeness, ever patient, ever enduring. It has purpose, it has direction, it does not wander aimlessly, but it is direct and it is precision-based. The object is always clear for you. Make it clear for us, Lord. Open the eyes of our understanding. Let us not just focus on the things that pertain to our fleshly desires, but to truly focus on the things that you hold dear to your heart. Amen. We're continuing our study in the book of Genesis. Last time we covered chapters 31 to 34 and we concluded with the story of Dinah, Jacob's daughter, who was defiled by a man called Shechem. Jacob's sons sought revenge as a result, slaughtered both Shechem and his father Hamor. Tonight we continue reading from the book of Genesis chapter 35. So if you'd like to turn to your books now, to Genesis chapter 35, and I shall also do the same. Okay, you should be there by now. Okay, so I'm going to continue reading. And God said unto Jacob, Arise, go up to Bethel and dwell there, and make there an altar unto God that appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of Esau thy brother. Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, Put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean, and change your garments. And let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I will make thee an altar unto God, who answered me in the day of my distress, and was with me in the way which I went. And they gave unto Jacob all the strange gods which were in their hand, and all their earrings which were in their ears. And Jacob hid them under the oak which was by Shechem. And they journeyed, the terror of God was upon the cities that were round about them, and they did not pursue after the sons of Jacob. So Jacob came to Luz, which is in the land of Canaan, that is Bethel, he and all the people that were with him. And he built there an altar, and called the place El Bethel, because there God appeared unto him, when he fled from the face of his brother. But Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried beneath Bethel under an oak, and the name of it was called Allon-Bachuth. And God appeared unto Jacob again when he came out of Padan Aram, and blessed him. And God said unto him, Thy name is Jacob, thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. And God said unto him, I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac, to thee I will give it, and to thy seed after thee will I give the land. And God went up from him in the place where I talked with him. And Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he talked with him, even a pillar of stone. And he poured a drink offering thereon, and he poured oil thereon. And Jacob called the name of the place where Jacob spake with him Bethel. And they journeyed from Bethel, and there was built a little way to come to Ephrath, and Rachel travailed, and she had hard labour. And it came to pass, when she was in hard labour, that the midwife said unto her, Fear not, thou shalt have this son also. And it came to pass, as her soul was in departing, for she died, that she called his name Ben-Oni, but his father called him Benjamin. And Rachel died and was buried in the way of Ephrath, which is Bethlehem. And Jacob set a pillar upon her grave, that is the pillar of Rachel's grave unto this day. And Israel journeyed and spread his tent beyond the tower of Edar. And it came to pass, when Israel dwelt in the land, that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah his father's concubine, and Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12, the sons of Leah, Reuben Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, and Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin. And the sons of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, Gad and Asher. These are the sons of Jacob, which were born to him in Padan Aram. And Jacob came unto Isaac his father, unto Mamre, unto the city of Arba, which is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac sojourned. And the days of Isaac were 180 years. And Isaac gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people, being old and full of days, and his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. Key observations. I believe God had a tone of irony in his response to Jacob at the beginning of chapter 35, which was justified because of what Jacob then orders his sons to do with the idols. What am I referring to? I'm referring to when he said, And God said unto Jacob, Arise, go up to Bethel, and dwell there, and make there an altar unto God that appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of Esau thy brother. In other words, why is he calling himself God? He knows he's God, so he's calling himself God because he's trying to see the irony of the situation, that they had other things that they called God, but they said, oh, it's the one now that you remember now that was helping you back in the time when you were fleeing from your brother. Now you've remembered me, and now you see that your idols are foolish. So he's saying that you've got some idols there, and he's fully aware of it. And we see then that he removes the idols. He asks his household to remove the idols, which he does. Which they do actually do. Then he hid them. He didn't even destroy them. This reminds me of when God said to Saul, kill all the Amalekites and leave nothing of them remaining, and he kept the sheep, goats, as spoils for sacrifice. Saul was in direct disobedience and paid the penalty for it. He was not only stripped of his position, he also lost psychological congruence. He fell from a highly intelligent spiritual realm to one of primitive spiritual ignorance. Fighting and warfare that is senseless without cause is usually based on ignorance and a poor mentality. Hidden things can be found again, so one needs to destroy them in order to make an effective, fresh, clean start. How many of us hold on to baggage and negative experiences which serve us no purposes but to hinder? Have you taken the time to think about what those things may be? to identify what things we hold on to that are idolatry is the first key and step for us to make in order to combat or destroy what we ultimately should be getting rid of. Verse 2, be clean, he says, change your garments. Cleansing for what they did made them dirty, it made them dirty. Verse 4, list the idols that they had, earrings, statues. The surrounding cities were afraid as God's terror was upon them. Therefore, they did not pursue the sons of Jacob. Verse 6 to 7. Jacob's arrival in Bethel erects an altar, calls it El Bethel, because this is the place where God appeared to him when he fled from his brother. God blesses Jacob after he leaves Padan Aram in verse 9. Okay, we see that in verse 10, God renames Jacob Israel. In verse 11, God instructs Jacob to multiply and that nations will be born as a result, and that his offspring shall be kings. So that's a promise that God makes to him. Okay, we know that God's promises come to fruition, so we just have to follow the story and see how this has come about. Verse 12, the land that God has promised Abraham and Isaac, he has declared it to be Jacob's and that of his descendants. Verse 16, we see Rachel goes into hard labour, and verse 18, Benjamin is born. Verse 22, Reuben lays with Bilhah, Israel's concubine, which obviously is not the thing to do, is it? So then we go on to the rest of the chapter is based on listing the sons of Jacob, and there are 12 sons born in total, which excludes the daughter Dinah that was born as well. But the sons they're focusing on, as they are the patriarchs that we're literally focusing on in this particular storyline and text. So the sons of Leah we see were Reuben, who was the firstborn, then Simeon, then Levi, then Judah, then Issachar and Zebulun. And then the sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, which is Leah's handmaid, was Gad and Asher. Then we see verse 27 that Jacob went to see his father Isaac, who was in Mamre, the city of Arba in Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac sojourned. Verse 28, we see that Jacob died at 180 years. Isaac died at 180 years old. I don't know why that's been put in there actually. And verse 29, Esau and Jacob buried him. Okay. So that concludes chapter 35. Chapter 36. In chapter 36, we go through the generations of Esau. Now Esau, we know, was the brother of Jacob, whose birthright and blessing he stole. But this is how God also blessed Esau. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Adah the daughter of Elon, the Hittite, and Aholibamah the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon the Hivite, and Bashemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebajoth. And Adah bare to Esau Eliphaz, and Bashemath bare Royal, and Aholibamah bare Jeush, and Jalam, and Korah. These are the sons of Esau, which were born unto him in the land of Canaan. And Esau took his wives and his sons and his daughters and all the persons of his house, and his cattle, and all his beasts, and all his substance, which he had got in the land of Canaan, and went into the country from the face of his brother Jacob. For their riches were more than that they might dwell together. And the land wherein they were strangers could not bear them because of their cattle. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz the son of Adar, and the wife of Esau, Roel the son of Bashmath, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, and Gatam, and Kenaz. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Adar, Esau's wife. And these are the sons of Ruel, Nahath, and Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These were the sons of Bashmath, Esau's wife. And these were the sons of Aholibamah, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon, Esau's wife. And she bare to Esau Jaish, and Jalam, and Korah. And these were dukes of the sons of Esau, the sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn son of Esau, Duke Teman, Duke Omar, Duke Zepho, Duke Kenaz, Duke Korah, Duke Gatam, and Duke Amalek. These are the dukes that came of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Adar, and these are the sons of Roel, Esau's son, Duke Nahath, Duke Zerah, Duke Shammah, Duke Mizah. These are the dukes that came of Ruel in the land of Edom. These are the sons of Bashmath, Esau's wife. And these are the sons of Aholibamah, Esau's wife, Duke Jaish, Duke Jalam, Duke Korah. These were the dukes that came of Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Esau, who is Edom. And these are their dukes. These are the sons of Seir the Horite, who inhabited the land: Lotan and Shobal, and Zibeon and Anah, and Dishon and Ezer and Dishon. These are the dukes of the Horites, the children of Seir in the land of Edom. And the children of Lotan were Horai and Eman, and Lotan's sister was Timnah. And the children of Shobal were these: Alvan and Manahath, and Ebal, Shepho, and Onam. And these are the children of Zibeon, both Ajah and Anah. This was that Anah that found the mules in the wilderness as he fled the asses of Zibeon his father. And the children of Anah were these: Dishon and Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah. And these are the children of Dishon: Hemdan and Eshban, and Ithran and Cheran. The children of Ezer are these: Bilhan and Zavan and Akan. The children of Dishon are these: Uz and Aran. These are the dukes that came of the Horites: Duke Lotan, Duke Shobal, Duke Zibeon, Duke Anah, Duke Dishon, Duke Ezer, Duke Dishon. These are the dukes that came of Horai among their dukes in the land of Seir. And these are the kings that reigned in the land of Edom before there reigned any king over the children of Israel. And Bela the son of Beor reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. And Bela died, and Jobab the son of Zerah of Bozrah reigned in his stead. And Jobab died, and Usham of the land of the Temani reigned in his stead. And Usham died, and Adad the son of Bedad, who smote Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his stead. And the name of his city was Avith. And Adad died, and Samlah of Masrekah reigned in his stead. And Samlah died, and Saul of Rehoboth by the river reigned in his stead. And Saul died, and Baal-Hanan the son of Achbor reigned in his stead. And Baal-Hanan the son of Achbor died, and Adar reigned in his stead. And the name of his city was Pau, and his wife's name was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred, the daughter of Mezahab. And these are the names of the dukes that came of Esau according to their families after their places, by their names: Duke Timnah, Duke Alva, Duke Jephthah, Duke Aholibama, Duke Elah, Duke Pinon, Duke Kenaz, Duke Teman, Duke Mibzar, Duke Magdiel, Duke Iram. These be the dukes of Edom according to their habitations in the land of their possessions. He is Esau, the father of the Edomites. Okay. So in summary, we see that Esau's wives were the daughters of Canaan: Adah, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite; Aholibama, daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon, the Hivite; Bashemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebajoth and Adah; Eliphaz, Bashemath, Reuel, Aholibama, Jeush, Jalem, and Korah. And verse 6, Esau took his wives, his sons, his daughters, all the persons of his house, his cattle, all his beasts, and all his substance obtained from Canaan, and went into the country from away from his brother Jacob. And we see the reason for this was verse 7, which is astonishing, isn't it? The reason was because their possessions were so much that they could not remain together in the same land. Also, their cattle they had was so much that the land would not support them. And I'd like to take you back as a reference to a chapter in my book, if you've got it, Beyond the Glory, The Wealth of the Patriarchs. When I talk about money in my book, I'm going to show you the book. If you've got the book, then that's really good and great. If not, go and get it. It's really worth a read. And it's something I really wanted to actually show you. If you just hold on one second. Okay, this is the book, Beyond the Glory. Okay, and it's something I really wanted to show you in there. And this particular verse highlights the thing. It's chapter 9 where I talk about money and I talk about the wealth of the patriarchs. And this particular verse just confirms everything that I've really tried to be reiterating, that serving God, one of the natural byproducts is you do acquire wealth. But obviously, you have to be obviously in service. It's just one of the byproducts, but it's not something you're supposed to be focusing on. It's something that's just incident of serving Him. And wealth comes in many formats, and it's to understand wealth, which I go into a lot more depth in my book about. But that verse certainly does highlight the fact that you do become quite wealthy. And you have seeds of greatness sown within you as a result of serving God. So yes, the blessings of the Lord maketh rich, and there is no sorrow with it. Okay, we're told in the Bible. Can you see why when preachers preach non-prosperity and being poor is our aim in life, that this goes against the grain of what is the nature of our living God? So if you are poor, note that you should ask yourself, why? Am I in right standing with God? If so, then why am I not accumulating wealth? Things that will affect your wealth: laziness, no work ethic, prayerless life, non-relationship with God, having no desire to serve God, lack of specialized knowledge. And verse 8, Esau lived in Mount Seir, and it states that Esau is Edom. See verse 9 to 43. It talks about descendants of Esau. It describes Esau as the father of Edomites. Okay, and the sons of Esau were Eliphaz, we saw, and Reuel. The sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, Kenaz, Amalek. The sons of Reuel was Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. The sons of Aholibama and Esau were Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. The dukes of the sons of Esau, sons of Eliphaz, firstborn son of Esau, Adah, the duke Teman, Omar, Zepho, and Kenaz, Korah, Gatam, and Amalek. The Jews that came from Royal, Esau's son Bashmath, the Duke Nahath, Duke Zerah, Duke Shamar, Duke Mizar, the sons of Aholibama, Esau's wife, Duke Jaish, Duke Jalam, Duke Korah. These were the dukes that came of Aholibama, the daughter of Anah, Esau's wife, and the sons of Seir the Horite, who inhabited the land, Lotan and Shobal and Zibeon and Anah, Duke Dishon, Duke Ezer, Duke Dishan. So they had dukes, okay? And the children of Lotan, Ori, Amam, children of Shobal, Alvan, Manahath, Ebal, Sepho, and Onam, the children of Zibeon, Ajah, Anah, children of Anah, Dishon, Aholibama, children of Dishon, Emden, Eshban, and Ithranand, and Charan. Children of Ezer, we saw was Bilhan, Zavan, and Akan. The children of Dishan was Uz and Aran. The dukes of the Horites were Duke Lotan, Duke Shabal, Duke Zibeon, and Duke Anan. Duke Dishan, Duke Ezer, Duke Dishan. These are the dukes that came of Horit among their dukes in the land of Seir. Kings that reigned in the land of Edom before there reigned any king over the children of Israel. Bela, son of Beor, reigned in Edom. The name of his city was Dinhabah. Bela died, and Joab, the son of Zerah of Bozrah, reigned in his stead. And Usham died, and Adad, that son of Bedand, who smote Midian, in the son of Moab, reigned in his stead, and the name of his city was Aviv. Adad died, and Samlah of Masrekah reigned in his stead. Samlah died, and Saul of Rehoboth by the river reigned in his stead. Saul died, and Baal-Hanan, son of Achbor, reigned in his stead. Baal-Hanan, the son of Achbor, died, and Adar reigned in his stead. The name of his city was Pau. His wife's name was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred, the daughter of Mezahab. Dukes of Esau according to the names of their families after their places: Duke Timnah, Duke Alva, Duke Jeth, Duke Aholibama, Duke Elah, Duke Pinon, Duke Kenaz, Duke Teman, Duke Mibzah, Duke Magdiel, Duke Iram. These be the dukes of Edom according to their habitations in the land of their possessions. He is Esau, the father of the Edomites. Okay, so that was chapter 36. Now moving on swiftly, we are going to chapter 37. So you see that Esau's generation was quite fast as well. So he was blessed. The blessings, obviously, they're part of the same family of Abraham. So the descendants were blessed anyway, irrespective of whether they're the firstborn or not. They were vast and they were wealthy. We saw the wealth of both these men were quite great. So chapter 37. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren. And the land was with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colours. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright, and behold, your sheaf stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf. And his brethren said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us, or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. And he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him, and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee, to the earth? And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the saying, and his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said unto Joseph, Do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, Here am I. And he said to him, Go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring the word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field, and the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, They are departed hence, for I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren, and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. And they said one to another, Behold, this dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit. And we will say, Some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. And it came to pass, when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colours, that was on him, and they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it, and they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, What profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content. Then there passed by Midianites merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt. And Reuben returned into the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes. And he returned unto his brethren, and said, The child is not, and whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat, and killed a kid of the goats, and dipped the coat in the blood. And they sent the coat of many colours, and they brought it to their father, and said, This have we found. Know now whether it be thy son's coat or not. And he knew it, and said, It is my son's coat. An evil beast hath devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces. And Jacob rent his clothes, and put sackcloth upon his loins, and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, For I will go down into the grave unto my son, mourning. Thus his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's, and captain of the guard. So we see in verse 1 that Jacob lived in Canaan, and described as a place where his father was a stranger. And verse 2 begins with a statement, a generation of Jacob. Okay, it then proceeds to give an account of Joseph, who was feeding the flock with his brothers Gad, Asher, Dan, and Naphtali. It then proceeds to state that Joseph brought back news to his father of their wrongdoings, a complaint. Verse 3 describes Israel's special affection for Joseph, his favourite son, and that he gave him a coat of many colours. Verse 4, we then see when his brothers saw that their father loved Joseph more than they were jealous and despised him. They did not speak calmly to him, but dealt with him abrasively. Verse 5, we see that Joseph has a dream which he discloses to his brothers, which inspires even more hatred among his brothers. Verse 6, we see Joseph addresses his brother and asks them to listen to him whilst he tells them about a dream he has had. Okay? And verse 7, he goes into detail about what the dream's about. He basically says in the dream there were binding sheaves in the field, and his sheaf arose and stood upright. Their sheaves stood around and about and subjected themselves to his sheaf. In other words, humbled themselves. Verse 8, the key question we see here was raised by his brothers: shalt thou indeed reign over us? Or shall thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him even more because of his dreams and of his words. And basically they didn't want him to have authority over them or have the control over them. Which you can imagine why they were thinking it, because they were older and they thought they were wiser. But here came this young man, this younger brother, that's given this authority. What does he know? What can he tell us? Why was he given this authority? But obviously he was given the authority for a reason. What strikes me as foolish about Joseph in this whole approach to this matter is he tells his brothers his dreams, even though it was quite clear they hated him and could do him harm. Here we see again in verse 9, he proceeds to tell them a further dream. How many of us are like that? It is as if we have a stupidity spasm when it comes to discerning and entrusting people with information about us, usually people who do not wish to see us prosper or are able to help and assist or encourage. Yet we persist as if we are compelled and are too lazy to find new uplifting and trustworthy people we can confide in, and we are so used to out of habit of having our nearest and dearest around us, we do not address the urgency, importance in keeping our resolve and assessing also whether you can really trust them with certain information. However, under normal circumstances, this would be a fair assessment, but the Bible is a prophetic book, and we know that things do not happen just by chance. It was necessary for Joseph to reveal the details of his dreams, as we see as the story continues to unfold. Joseph, in verse 9, relates the second dream to his brothers. The dream was about the sun and the moon and the 11 stars, which once again subjected themselves to him. The significance of this dream a little more involved. The sun and the moon are the greater lights in Genesis 1 verse 16. Now the 11 stars were obviously referring to his brothers. However, the sun and the moon must be referring to his parents. So even his parents were subjected to him, or would be subjected to him. Notice immediately before Joseph has these dreams that he is given a gift from his father, a cloak. Cloaks are mantles Mantles are level of authority in the spirit realm. So, by his father giving him a coat, what in fact was happening was that he had given Joseph an upgrade in his spiritual stature. Israel was no ordinary father. He was a servant of God, a prophet of God, and therefore he had ordained Joseph into a higher position of authority. The dreams Joseph had been, the dreams Joseph had been a confirmation of that new authority and position. Note it was not immediate, but it was in the future. So when one is ordained into a position, one does not immediately acquire the authority. And I will refer you to the newsletter for next month, where I present to you part 2 of Dr. Cindy Trim's discussion about authority and dominions and realms. It is like you begin a new job with a title in a company. This does not imply that you immediately take on the full responsibility of that position. You acquire knowledge, specialized knowledge, as you grow into the position. Each assignment you are required to carry out, you develop experience, you sharpen your ability to handle more responsibility. You must familiarize yourself with the organizations. You have a real feel for it, to know what to do, what to project for, how to budget, how to perform your role to the fullest and effective extent. It takes time for a new manager to be fully functional in that position and thus to get a real sense of his authority. It is imperative at an early stage that the manager assesses those who support and those who do not support his objectives, and to do a reshuffle if necessary to bring in a constructive team that will aid him. What doesn't help is if the organization recruits the manager externally after it advertised or built someone's hopes up internally. This would immediately create conflict and resentment amongst the team. It is imperative that an honest and integral relationship is developed between the new manager and his team, and that any ill feelings or personal issues are addressed immediately and resolved. Now, sometimes God gives us revelations, not for us to immediately go out and tell people about them. They are personal for us. God was speaking to Joseph directly, but he was too young to understand the real significance of what was actually being spoken. By Joseph revealing these things to his brothers, it demonstrated the heart of his brothers and the heart of his parents. God looks at the poor and the oppressed. Joseph had lost his mother and only had his father. All his other brothers and sisters, except Benjamin, had both parents routing for them. So Joseph may have been overlooked because he didn't have his mother's presence, but God was watching. We see in verse 3, now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, not because he was a son born to him by Rachel, whom he loved. Are we to assume that he had stopped favoring Rachel? He had other children, but his affections were transferred more toward Joseph. He never even favored Benjamin. Could it have been that he felt that the birth of Benjamin caused the death of Rachel? Isaac was born when Abraham was in old age. He was not the firstborn because Ishmael had taken the title because of Abraham misinterpreting what God had said and trying to make things come to pass the way he constructed it and not the way God intended it to be. Jacob, on the other hand, stole his brother's birthright and blessings to acquire the rights of the firstborn. Now, he did not give the rights of the firstborn to Reuben, but to Joseph. So we can see that there's a family trait or a pattern there forming, and we see that the cart is put before the horse a bit, and as such, things are getting muddled, and it's going down through the generations. This trait, which is a result of being in direct disobedience to God, not waiting on God and waiting for what God actually wants to do in your life. And sometimes it's very easy for us to get impatient, and with impatience comes a bit of doubt. And we're sitting there waiting, and we're thinking, okay, all right, now will be a good time. Now will be a good time, things are happening. But sometimes you've got to move forward, or you've got to act. But if God has told you something's going to happen, you've got to believe it's going to happen without forcing the issue of making it happen. And that is an art form that I think a lot of us need to develop. You don't force the issue, you just work towards the direction because you know that's going to happen. So you prepare in advance. His revelation is so we can prepare ourselves to receive. When we're at that point, develop ourselves to receive what it is he's going to give us. So, he said something. It's just like, you're going to have to do something. You're going to really need to do something. You just really need to pray to him and ask him what it is he's going to, how to prepare, what to do. If there is anything you can do, you brace yourself for it. You think about the things that what it would be like in terms of, but then obviously don't get hung up on what you think it might be like, because it might not be the way you anticipate, because in your thoughts you might then be forced or prompted to rush out and leap out ahead of things and make things happen according to what you feel it should be, and not really what God is wanting it to be. And it was quite clear, he said, it's through, whatever source he said. And if he's specific, and you get specifics about what it's supposed to be, then you look in that direction. You don't go in the direction that you choose of your own accord. So I think that's a lesson to be learnt there. With impatience comes a negative effect, which could affect your generations to come. And it's just waiting on the Lord and trusting in him and developing faith and acting on faith. If you hear a word, if you hear a promise that you receive that relates to you, or an idea, act on it. Act on it. It's there for a reason. Act on the idea. In the sense of act confidently, working towards that, because you know it's going to happen. It's just when and God's timing. And no matter what it looks like, you've got to stay focused, because it will happen. Well, that concludes tonight's Bible study session. We've finished a little bit earlier tonight, but not to worry. I'm sure you've got lots that you've had here now to really think about, and you can watch this video again as well. And I hope you enjoyed it. So please don't forget to send me your feedback and information of your findings and any questions that you may have. If you enjoyed this session, why don't you share it, as I said, with your friends and your family. Invite them next month to see what's happening, and to sit once again as we read the word together. So see you next month on the 24th. Thank you very much for joining me this evening, and goodbye.